So one of the things that I would see with her is that when we did step by step with her, she was able to understand the concept.
That's
and
why
she
the notes
was
work for her.
That's why they work for her.
Yeah.
And that is an attention issue, which I think is why we moved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she takes good notes. She's very
Mm-hmm.
she follows along. Like, she has a lot of good things in place. She's not a kid who's just like, I don't care. Like, she definitely tries and does things and works. And she and Alexi both. They're very similar in that
I agree
way.
with you.
They
They're in that same group.
So she's using like notes and her planner and those kinds of things.
Yes.
She's probably
visual reminders.
I bet you that visual processing for her would have been really high because she definitely relies on and kids with inattention tend to be high visually. They need those notes. They need to look at your boards and see.
I need it. You just have too much going on.
Too much going on.
Especially for kids like this, sixth grade can be very overwhelming. It is so academic.
Those graphic organizers, those type of things are the step by step.
I'm going to give her that framework for the character can too. I have to make copies of it.
And
but I
Sarah,
was like,
your
she might need
chart that you use with the transitions, where you have examples in the boxes of how to use your transitions, those are the types of things that like they soar on. It's
And
just
she
it's what they
always-
have to have to be successful.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that we need to talk, that I need to bring up with Jacqueline too, about her 504, is I'm going to go back over what her accommodations exactly are, because I think for going on to 7th grade, she definitely needs to have.
Has she
No.
been renewed this year? Pat?
No,
I don't know.
she for sure has not been renewed because I've not found anything.
You know what?
Oh, I'm in Aries. Can look for it?
She used to be part of that like Mean Girls
Mhm.
group. I don't know if you remember when they were in 3rd grade.
Oh, well, there was the whole her and
Thank-
Tanya and
yeah,
Alexi.
Right. And
That's
thank
kind
God
of.
about half of them have moved.
Mhm.
Like there's several.
Her best friend now is Buck Flores.
Yeah, and they're.
Okay.
they-
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's okay. It's working out okay.
Right.
Tanya and Alexi have kind of, Alexi's with different kids,
Good.
and Tanya's kind of doing great.
Okay.
Socially, her mom is so happy. I'm happy.
Who's she
Tanya's
hanging out with
happy.
these days?
She kind of flits around.
Okay.
It depends.
Yeah, that's diminished. It was just so funny to see. It was so seriously. It was Mean Girl stuff and mom drama in 3rd grade, and now that they've grown up, they've actually gotten better.
Yeah,
rather
oh,
than
for
the
sure.
hormones making it the other way.
She has a little.
So
crush
she
on
has
Grayson.
she has 2 504 dates, which is kind of odd, but she has the 6-4 and 6-13. And then she had 6-14 last year. So I don't know. There was one for 8 though. You didn't have a meeting earlier this year?
No.
Okay. So then she's due in June. We can always hold it earlier though if we need
let's
to.
Make sure it gets held. Work with Jacqueline
Yeah, because I'd
before.
like to see all that visual stuff be in place for her. I mean, I
Okay.
know like in moving on to 7th grade, she'll have a planner. But like sometimes junior high teachers are not real good about the visuals and all that. She is one of the ones who, like with her writing. So when they were working on their opinion argument about technology, I kind of just started like with them, like going through the process with them, typing it so that they could see it on the screen, and going back and revising kind of on my own. And I helped them kind of structure it, but it was like, okay, well, this is linked to this. Anyways, I had it up there. And it was up for a while, like during a day while the kids are writing. And then most kids, it's like they might not really even need it as a scaffold, or they needed it for a second, and then they could work on their own. So the next day they go back to writing again, and she asked me to put it back up. Like she was like, and I said, I'll share it with you as a doc. So I just like shared it with her so that she could look in mine. I said, if you need to use parts of mine, use them.
Right.
You know, if you need to look at, I told her like how, because she would be one who would copy me exactly where I numbered it, but I'm like, but I'm just showing you that reason is linked to this first body paragraph. That's why I called it number 1. I have to explicitly talk to her about that. Where the other kids are like, you don't number paragraphs, it's only because of this. But those visuals are super important. She's going to need some kind of frames. She's going to need some kind of visuals. She's going to need a syllabus that has an example of what that looks like. She's not going to be able to just invent it in her own brain.
And the thing is that if we leveled in language arts, which I'm not saying we need to, we've already, but she would probably be the one that would also be a part of, at the earlier part of the year, that would have started in our group and maybe would have transitioned out, like the girls, the other 2, because I think she just does need that explicit direct, and she needs to, it happens for some of these kids at different grades, but once they take that ownership and they understand, like,
I think she's taking
how
ownership
they learn,
big time.
but how they learn and what they need to be successful, and then they continue to do it, then she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, she's gonna for sure find her niche, her confidence has improved dramatically.
gosh,
She used to
yes.
come, like, so I still do math in the morning for like 20-25 minutes with my whole class, just because I'm like, I want them to have the experiences that everybody has, and it's not going to hurt them, and if anything else, it'll send them off to the next class maybe more, a little bit better prepared than if they had nothing in the morning. So we do like our little warm-up or whatever, and she used to just be like, you know, she would just kind of like, she didn't want to even have anything to do with it, and now she's like on the floor, she's like, let me, you know, talk about it.
Very timid, lets others talk for her. So this,
That's a,
is that her? We're still talking about Maya, right?
yeah, but, oh.
So that was in the fall?
It was, okay. This is so wonky, I have to like go back and.
I mean, maybe that's her, maybe that was her, but I don't find that to be as much true as it
No,
was.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't
You said-
have,
You said the behavior who is inattentive can exclude others, can be unkind.
oh yeah,
Yes.
not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, she's all fixed.
Okay.
Because she's but because she's built that relationship with you. That's
Yes.
exactly why.
Well,
because she
and-
does come across that way. When I first started working with her in
Yeah.
4th grade, I was like, oh my word.
Yeah.
Like, you
That's
need
what
to
you
be,
said too.
yeah, like
she's mopey
don't
or
be
she's
rude.
kind
What
of
do you
like,
want me to say now? What do you want me to say that grown
she's
most-
working very hard, she's grown socially and emotionally,
Okay, grown socially.
she's aware of what she needs to do. She wants to be aware of what she needs to do to be successful, she asks for help.
Are you picking a name color font
Yeah,
first?
I
Oh,
definitely have noticed that she's the one out of everybody who is
That's what you said,
consistently.
yep.
I don't understand this part.
Oh,
Can you
she's
ask for
great about that. Can you
clarification?
clarify what,
Thank you.
That's a
you
huge
clarify what this
growth because
means?
that wasn't the case when I first started working with her, and that was
Yeah.
part of the issue. Is I think her anger would set in because she didn't understand or know, and she wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
And so that's why when she
No.
first started in my group, that was part of the reason why, because she wasn't understanding,
yeah.
she wasn't asking, and she was being mean about it to either whoever
Well,
was
and
in the
part of
room
it, I
with
think,
her.
is to cover up for
Absolutely.
insecurities. and
Yes.
insecurities.
No, for sure. So that just reminded me when Sarah said something about, can you clarify that when we're working on language arts, and you know, there's some words in there where I feel like, oh, come on, kids know what this means. It's like something so obvious, but I still do it. You know, I'm like, let's not assume anything. And she'll be like, can you just clarify what they mean by this? And it's like always like, it sounds just like another word that it means, but I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for asking. It means, and I think too, it's a pretty like, the kids have gotten to know like, you don't laugh at somebody's question, you know, no matter how silly it might seem. So it's pretty supportive for her. So when she says, can you clarify what something means? I'm always like, oh my gosh, thank you for asking. I bet other people might have had the same question too. This means that, oh, okay. And she'll write it down in her margins.
Well, and
Like,
you've created a safe place for her.
I feel like she
You're
feels
really
happy.
good about
You don't see
that.
that unkindness. It's,
Right.
You really think it's a direct relationship to how she felt in the classroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think she feels good. I
Yeah.
do, really.
Okay, and she's there, but not a lot of growth, but maybe this is her time to grow emotionally.
Yeah.
And socially.
Yeah,
and
stuff
with her
happens at different-
organizational skills,
Uh-huh.
and just the fact that she's feeling better in her own skin and empowering, so hopefully when even if the
As we
teacher
know,
doesn't
it's not just
provide
about
that environment,
academics
at least
too.
she
So.
feels brave enough to know
Yes.
that teacher won't bite my head off,
Yeah.
I can ask him.
And I just hope that she has positive experiences moving forward with
And
them.
those-
Me too.
Well, and I
Sounds
think
great
that's important
because-
that when you, like you said, when you set up the 504,
Maybe
when you go and
she's more
renew that,
confident.
Yeah,
that
and if
those
she
things
has
are put
this
in.
attitude that she has now versus,
Right.
ooh, I think people are going to be
Carry
more
over.
happy to help her. Teachers are going to be much more likely to help her if she's kind and she's like who's going to not help a kid who goes, could you please clarify what you mean by equation? When you're going, equation, it's equal, okay. You're like, oh, okay, well, thank you for asking, you know, this and this. If she's going to say, can you
Right.
clarify? Who's going to get upset with her about that?
But she, one of the math teacher my daughter had, she'd say, that's a dumb question, it's in the textbook, you should have read it.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, let's
that's
hope
gonna
she doesn't,
shut
that's
it
going to
off.
shut her right
Yeah,
down.
Yeah,
Yep.
so guess what I did? You know,
Yeah.
You can guess, she's not, what didn't say.
Yeah.
They could have given me the runaround